Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, am I audible and visible both?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Perfect. Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good, ma'am. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I am also doing good. Thank you so much for asking. So, I'm meeting you after a long time, right?
Yes, ma'am. My demo session was with you.
Yes, I remember. So, how are your sessions going otherwise?
Yes, it has been going well.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, are you taking like regular sessions or on certain days of the week?
No, I'm taking regular sessions.
That's very nice. And are you
Ma'am,
finding some improvement? Yeah.
yes, yes. I want to say something.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know, the voltage in our area is
Hmm.
constantly fluctuating. So
Okay.
if you don't mind the, light effect.
That's okay. That's okay. No problem for me. I can still see you, so it's okay. You don't have to excuse yourself. It's fine. Yeah. So I was just saying that what kinds of improvements are you seeing within yourself now?
Mm, Actually, I have a lot of problems as you have already seen me in my demo session.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
lack of vocabulary, sometimes pronunciations,
Yeah.
and also sentence structures.
Right.
Sometimes while speaking about past habits,
Hmm.
sometimes I mix tenses. So
Right.
everything is there.
Right. Okay. Okay. I understand. But I mean, are you seeing some improvement within these areas as you are going on with your classes?
Yes, as I'm practicing, uh,
Hmm.
so so yes, some improvement
Some
I can
improvement.
see, like I can talk, I can speak at least.
Right. Okay. That's very nice. Just go on with the classes. I think you'll improve more. But obviously, today, in today's class, I'll try to find out if there are some recurring mistakes that are happening. And I'll try to give you some suggestions based on that. Okay. And as you have, I think, seen in the last demo class that you did with me as well, I like to do some, some activities first, and then I like to go into the topic of the day. So we
Yes,
will
ma'am.
do the same today as well. We'll do some different, activities different from the last class, and we will see how you can improve from here on. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
But
Yes.
yeah, but before we go into the activities, first tell me that, how did your day go today? Can you just give me a chronological account of whatever you did in the day today, from the time you woke up till the time you made this call? I mean, this session, part,
Okay.
participating
Sure,
in it.
ma'am.
Yeah.
I woke up at 8:30 in the
Okay.
morning.
Okay.
Uh, After waking up, I took bath. I freshened up,
Hmm.
and I had my breakfast.
Okay.
Then I played with my child for some time and
Okay.
got ready and headed to office.
Mm-hmm.
Um I I came back from office at 5:30. After
Mm-hmm.
that, I had some snack and
Okay.
I took some rest. And right now, I'm taking this session with you.
Okay. That's nice. That's a nice productive day. So, how old is your child? You mentioned your child, right?
Yes, he is 10 months old.
Oh, it's really small. That's very nice. So, you are a working professional. So, do you feel like, of course, you face problems, but what problems do you exactly face when it comes to being a working mother?
It's difficult to be a working
Hmm.
mother. Uh,
Hmm.
my parents are with me,
Hmm.
so basically, they are taking all the good care of my
Hmm.
baby.
Right.
And when I come from office, I try to spend uh, all the time with him only.
Right.
The problem that I'm currently facing is that
Hmm.
he doesn't want to sleep at night. He
Ah,
wants to
right.
play, and
Right.
at night his energy is much higher than
That's correct.
uh, what is during the day.
Right.
So I also sometimes feel sleepy, but because he is not uh, he's still wide awake, so
Hmm.
it gets difficult to handle him at times.
That's correct.
And
That's
because
correct.
my parents are constantly taking care of him during the daytime, so
Hmm.
they also want to, sleep little early at night
Hmm.
so that they
Yeah.
can rejuvenate themselves, and because the next day the same routine will continue. So this is the problem that currently I'm facing.
Right, okay. But it's okay. You know what they say about babies, they just grow up before we expect them to, right? So I'm pretty sure
Yes.
you will also overcome this phase. And it's so nice. I really appreciate that you still go to work. And I know it's not easy for working mothers, right? Not like I have any experience, but I've seen working mothers as,
Yeah, I
beside
think
me all the
everyone
time.
will eventually feel the same thing because.
Yes, absolutely. So it's really good. And you're also taking the classes very nice. I have to appreciate your efforts firstly. So very
Thank
well
you. Thank you very
done.
much.
Right, just one thing, when you use the word everyone, you have to use a plural verb because everyone is a singular subject. So everyone sees it, or everyone has seen it, or everyone watches it, understands it. So you have to give that s beside that. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So just be careful about that. But otherwise, all good. Okay. So that was the preliminary conversation starters that we had. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to have a story session. But here, I'm
Oh,
pretty sure you probably tell stories to your son. So I'm going to give you some relief today, and I am going to tell you the story. Okay. In fact, I'm going to read a story to you, and it would be a part of something called listening comprehension. I'm pretty sure you know what listening comprehension is. In this,
yes.
I'd be reading the story out to you twice, once slowly and the other time a little faster. Okay. And then after we are done, I'm going to ask you some questions to see how attentively you can follow someone else speaking and how much you can, answer later on. Okay.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
All right. So are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So the title of the passage or the story that I'm going to read out is called "Are You Listening?" and it has been written by someone named Andrew Frankel. Are you listening, Simon? Simon's teacher asked. It was a pretty usual question. Simon smiled and shook his head. He rarely listened or tried hard in class. Talking was so much better. He wanted to be heard. He had opinions. I was talking to Susan, he said lazily. One of these days, you will actually listen and you will learn something, Mrs. Jacobs said in frustration. She tried every day, but he never paid attention. That evening, Simon started to feel a little bit sick. By his bedtime snack, his throat really hurt. He had ice cream and hot chocolate to make his throat feel better, but he wasn't sure it would work. The next morning, when he opened his mouth to say good morning, nothing came out but a croak. Guh, his voice quaked. Simon's mother looked at him. Honey, you've lost your voice. Can I stay home? He tried to ask, but words didn't come out. Instead, his mother checked him for a fever and pronounced him good to go to school, even if he couldn't talk. How awful! When he got to school, Mrs. Jacobs said hello to him, and he just nodded. When his friends started to ask him what TV shows he watched last night, he just shrugged. By the time the bell rang to start class, almost everyone was looking at him as if he had grown a third eye or an extra nose. Penny raised her hand. Mrs. Jacobs, why isn't Simon talking? I'm scared. He never stops talking, Richard said worriedly. He was scared of everything, though. I'm sick. I can't talk. Simon tried to whisper, but no one could understand. He wrote it down instead. Everyone started talking at once. They were excited, worried, and surprised. Mrs. Jacobs was actually happy, it seemed. What a cruel woman. Simon sat in class bored because he couldn't talk to his neighbors. He watched them talk to each other and ignored the teacher, but he couldn't even do that. In math class, he could hold up fingers if the answer was less than 10, but that wasn't fun. He decided to try to pay attention out of sheer boredom. You know what? It wasn't that bad. He could actually do his homework that night. It gave him extra TV time and game time because his work was all done. All along, all he had to do was listen. The next day, even though his voice was coming back, he stayed quiet again. The third day, he could talk fine, but he didn't interrupt or waste time. He listened and raised his hand to speak. What a difference that one day made. Okay, clear?
Yes.
All right. So I will now just read it really quickly. Just fill out any information that you might have missed, and then finally I'll start asking you the question. Okay. All right. So, are you listening? Simon's teacher asked him. It was a pretty usual question because Simon never listened in class, and Simon also shook his head and said no. He did not like to listen. He had opinions and he felt like he should tell more about those to others. And he said, I was talking to Susan. And his teacher, Mrs. Jacobs, said that one of these days you'll actually have to listen and you'll learn something. Now, that evening, Simon started to feel a little bit sick. By his bedtime, his throat was feeling sore and hurt. He had ice cream and hot chocolate to make it feel better, but nothing really worked. The next morning, when he opened his mouth to say goodbye, he couldn't speak. All that came out was a croak. His voice croaked. Gah. Now, Simon's mother really looked worried, and she found out that he had lost his voice, and he wanted to ask her if he could stay back home, but words did not come out. Instead, his mother checked him for a fever and pronounced him good to go to school. How awful. Now, when he went to school, Jacobs said hello to him, but he just nodded. When his friends were asking him, what shows did you watch last night? He could just shrug. By the time the bell rang, everyone was worried and looking at him as if he had grown a third eye or an extra nose. Now, Penny raised her hand and asked Mrs. Jacobs, why isn't Simon talking? Richard said worriedly, I'm scared he had never stops talking, but Richard was scared of everything. Simon tried to whisper that I am sick, I can't talk, but no one understood. So we finally wrote it down in paper for everyone. So after everyone understood what was happening, they started talking again. They were excited, worried, and surprised. Mrs. Jacobs was almost seeming to be a little happy. What a cruel woman. Now Simon sat in class, bored because he couldn't talk to his neighbors. He watched them talk to each other and ignored the teacher, but he couldn't participate at all. In math class, he could hold up his fingers if the answer was less than 10, but that wasn't fun. He decided to pay attention finally out of sheer boredom. And you know what? It wasn't that bad. He could actually do his homework that night. It gave him extra TV time and game time because he did his work all alone and everything was well done. So, all along, all he had to do was listen. The next day, even though he was getting his voice back, he still decided to stay quiet and listen. On the third day, he was absolutely fine, but he still didn't interrupt or waste time. He listened and raised his hand to speak. What a difference that one day made. Okay, clear? Okay.
Yes.
Now questions. So tell me, what was Simon famous or infamous for in class?
So Simon was famous for talking all the time in the class with his
Hmm?
classmates.
Right. And never listening. Right. So
And
what did Mrs. Jacobs, his teacher, tell him one day?
that at least for one day he should listen
Hmm.
because that will help him in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good. Okay. Now tell me what happened one day when Simon was going to bed. What did he understand was happening to him?
So one day when Simon was about to go to bed, he felt that his throat soared
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
and he couldn't speak.
Right, absolutely. So you said his throat soared, right? Now, sore is an adjective, like sore throat. If you say throat soared, that spelling changes Soared. When we say the fly, not
Fine.
fly, the
Like,
kite is flying or soaring in the sky, then we
it's
use it.
hurting.
Yeah, it's hurting is fine, or is it was turning sore. Could just use it as an adjective. Okay, very good. So what happened when you went to class that day? What did you find out?
So when he went to class, he find out that he was not able to speak
Hmm.
with anyone, even if
Hmm.
he tried hard to do so, but the
Hmm.
voice did not come out.
Hmm.
Yes,
Right. Okay. Okay. So just one thing, you said he find out. It should be he found out.
found it. Yes.
Yes. Last question. What lesson did he get from this event or this happening?
Okay, so when his voice was not coming out,
Hmm.
he had no other option but to listen to all the classes.
Hmm.
And after going home, also
Hmm.
because he was not talking to anyone, he could finish his homework
Hmm.
in lesser time
Right.
that it takes when he could speak.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
and he got he got uh, some more time to watch TV or to play.
Right.
So he understood that it's better to listen
Hmm.
than to speak.
Right, absolutely. Very nice, very nice. You are perfectly answered everything. Good job. Just take care of the past tense and present tense here or there, but otherwise, very good listening and very good attention given. Okay, all right. So now we'll do one more activity and then we'll finally go to the question and answer part. In this activity, like you were mentioning, that your pronunciation sometimes is a bit of the mark. So I'm going to share a reading passage for you on the screen. It is from our notes today only, based on extracurricular activities, our topic. You have to read it for me and I'll check your pronunciation and reading skills once. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
let me just share it first. Give me a moment. Yeah. Yeah, can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so whenever you're ready, you can start speaking.
So engaging in extracurricular activities is a wonderful way to enhance your skills and
Hmm.
broaden your horizons beyond the
Hmm.
classroom.
Hmm.
These activities, which go beyond your regular studies, provide an opportunity to explore your interests
Hmm.
and develop valuable life skills.
Hmm.
Whether it's participating in sports, joining a club, or volunteering,
Hmm.
extracurricular activities contribute to a personal growth and a well rounded education. They
Right.
foster teamwork, leadership, and time management skills while
Hmm.
allowing you to make new friends who
Hmm.
share similar passions. So don't hesitate to step outside your comfort zone and discover the exciting world of extracurricular activities.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Good. You read it more or less well. And I mean, there was no pronunciation difficulty as such. So good job. I'll stop sharing on that note. Is there any word that you did not understand or you're not familiar with?
Foster.
Hmm. Foster. Okay. Foster basically means nurturing. Okay, like we often say foster homes. Foster homes mean, where children are taken care of until they are adopted. Right. So fostering means nurturing or helping something or someone grow. All right. So here it says they foster. So they foster as in they build teamwork, they help teamwork grow, nurture teamwork, leadership, like that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else that you did not understand?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll stop sharing. Now is time for the question and answer session. So are you ready to answer some
Yes, ma'am.
questions? Okay, now tell me, do you think extracurricular activities are important in school? If yes, why? If not, why?
Yes, I think extracurricular activities are important in
Hmm.
school
Hmm.
uh, because you can't study all the time. You
Hmm.
get bored.
Hmm.
And when you study, even if you study all the time, the quality of your study will
Hmm.
deteriorate after some
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
If you indulge yourself in other activities
Right.
apart from your academics,
Hmm.
then you can enjoy your time uh,
Yeah.
and also you can forget about studies for that
Hmm.
time being.
Hmm.
And uh, after the activities, when you go back and study, then the quality is better.
Hmm.
Another point will be if you really like some activities, or maybe one of the activities,
Hmm.
then you can take it as a career
Hmm.
option in future.
Absolutely.
So yes, it plays an important role in a student's life.
Right. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now tell me that what kind of extracurricular activities did you participate in during your school life, and how have those helped you?
I don't think I have participated in any of extracurricular activities.
Hmm. Okay.
I
Nothing
used to
as such.
play with my friends
Yeah.
after school.
Hmm.
During school time, I didn't participate in any activities. But
Hmm.
yeah, I used to play with my neighborhood friends. So
Hmm.
we used to go outside and play football, sometimes cricket,
Hmm.
and also I have a brother. So at home also we used to play many different games,
Right.
badminton and hide and seek.
Hmm.
So yes.
Okay, that's really sweet. Okay, very nice. Now tell me that you were talking about having a career made out of these activities as well. So could you elaborate a little on that, like with examples? What did you exactly mean? Can we really make a career out of it? If yes, how?
Yes, because I feel that when I was younger, when I was in
Hmm.
school, that time you can only think of being a doctor, an engineer, and
Hmm.
a teacher. But
Right.
nowadays, it has been changed. People are, the exposure is, uh, what should I say? Exposure is, there is much exposure to think about taking other career options
Hmm.
also. For
Hmm.
example, influencers, YouTubers, singers, dancers, hairstylists,
Hmm.
uh, fashion, uh, what should I say? So these things are also there, and you can, if you are passionate about singing or maybe dancing, maybe painting, so you can take it as an career option.
Right.
And I think our parents are also aware that uh, is the time has changed now, and the you should think uh, uncon- you you should not think conventionally, and
Right.
force your child who is not interested in studies
Hmm.
to force him, and uh, not allowing him or her to do any extracurricular activities apart from studies. Uh,
Right.
so you should
Okay.
encourage your children so that they can find their passion and
Absolutely.
take it as
Absolutely.
a career option in future.
Okay, good. Good answer. Your answers were really good. And I think there's a calmness and composure in you, which you really use when you're trying to answer or, give responses to certain things. That's a very good quality. And I did not find a lot of mistakes in your speech as well today, which is very, very nice. Just work on those. Sometimes you're making mistakes with the verb forms, past tense, present tense, or the verb, subject verb alignment. Just work on that. If you can get that under control, I think you'll have nothing to worry about as such. Obviously, after that, voice modulation and everything, we can work on that later. But first, from grammar, just try to get these things under control. Then at least from the grammatical point of view, you'll be at a much better standing. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Yes.
right, do
I
you
think
have
the
any
the
questions?
lights went off.
Yeah, that's
I'm so
okay. That's
sorry.
okay. No problem. No, you don't have to be sorry. It's okay. Happens with all of us, right? But do you have any question?
No, actually, I wanted to say many things about why we should take extracurricular activities seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why I feel I messed up.
No, I mean, from your perspective you might think that you messed up because obviously I don't know what you wanted to say, right? But I can only
Yes.
comment on the things that you said. So also on from that perspective as well, you, it wasn't like you didn't say anything, you gave me 2 3 points. Yes, you might have had more, like 4 5 points, which is okay. You can work on that a little, that why couldn't I say those, could I not frame sentences, or why did I become nervous, try to introspect a little, and always try to
Yes.
make points like you are already making, and try to see how many more points you have, and then try to express them as well. That way you won't really miss out on them. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Yes.
right, do you have any other thing to say, or any other thing that I can help you out with?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Nothing is off now. Okay, so hopefully I'll see you again, and then we're going to talk a little. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
All right, thank you, it was wonderful talking to you. Bye bye, have a good day.
Same